In the assignment 1.05 string input, you'll be demonstrating how an input statement gathers in user input. You'll use that response in other places in your program, so you're going to capture the answer and assign it to a variable. Finally, you're going to concatenate that variable with other parts of a print statement to display it back to the user. Remember, concatenation is just when you combine two or more string literals using the plus sign to form a single character, single string of characters. So let's look at that in a program. So you're going to have your idle open, and just a couple things. Notice at the top of my idle, I always start with comment tags that tell me the purpose of the program, the student name, and then also the date, or if you're doing multiple versions, it might have the version number. We're going to define our main function. Okay, notice that's all the way over at the left margin. Then you're going to go in 4 spaces. You can either do spacing or you can hit tab. Either will work, but you have to be consistent. So I'm going to ask the user with an input statement. So when I run my program, the fact that I've got input, what is your name, input is the statement I use when I want to ask the user to enter information. And then I'm assigning it to a variable called name. Remember to make your variables descriptive. So when I hit run program, it's going to say, what is your name? Now keep in mind with Python, if you have any background information, it doesn't print to the screen automatically, so you would actually need to include that in your input statement. So I'm going to put in my name and click OK. All right, and then what it's done is it's taken my name, it's assigned it to the variable. Now in a print statement, it's going to concatenate that to make the rest of the sentence. So hi is in quote marks because that's what is going to be printed. Okay, notice my punctuation, and notice if I want a space before the variable, I include that space in my quote marks. Okay, hi Becky, comma. I'm adding the name variable, so that's why it put my name in. Then I'm adding the rest of the string. So I've got another plus sign, and then in quotes will be the rest of my statement, which is going to be a comma. And again, notice the spacing because the spacing in the quotes is captured. So if I want the comma to be right up against the variable, then I don't put any space between the quote mark and the comma. Okay, and then welcome to programming class. All right, now, one aspect of the assignment that sometimes gets missed is in step 4, it asks you to use either indexing or slicing to display either a letter back to the user or a word, or you think about how you'll use it in your conversation. But this video is going to review a little bit about what indexing is and what slicing is. Okay, so indexing just prints what index value. I can tell it to print a character at a particular index value. So for example, let's say I'm going to run this again. It's going to give me my name. And in this case, I want to print out the first letter in my name. The first letter of your name is B. Now notice that when I ask for that, I'm putting in the name of the variable, and then in square brackets, I'm putting the index position. And I put 0 because we start counting from 0. So the first letter is going to be name 0. The second letter is going to be name square brackets 1. So the first letter of your name is, notice I put the first letter of my name is plus, because I'm using concatenation, name, the variable name, and I want the character that is at position 0. In the next 2 examples, the character at index 0 is, and notice I put the variable and then the square brackets 0. The character at index 1, which would be the second letter, plus name, variable name, and then the index position, 1, and that's going to give me the second letter. So the key here to remember is you're starting counting from 0. Okay. Now slicing is similar, but in slicing, what you're going to do is you're going to take a segment of a word. So in my program, I'm going to take out my content tags because I already did the typing. I'm going to assign a variable word 1 to the word anytime. And I want it to print the first word in that compound word and then the second word in that compound word. So see if you can identify the mistake I made here. I've got the word, I've concatenated it, I've put my variable name, then is made up of, and then I've said word 1 and I wanted it to go from position 0 to position 2. So if I'm on any time, that's 0, 1, 2. And I want the second word, okay, so position 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 to 6. So watch what happens when I run my program. Again, it's asking for my name, and because it's still doing the first part of the program. And then it says the word anytime is made up of an and PIM, Ann and Tim. Okay, so I've messed up somewhere, right? Because I don't have that third letter. I don't have that fourth letter. So one of the things that's important to remember is when you do slicing, the second the first index value is actually the index of the first letter, but the second index value is one past the letter you actually want. So if I want it to go up to position 2, 0, 1, 2, then I have to tell it to go from 0 to 3. I need to tell it to go from 3 to 7. Okay, and because with slicing, what it does is it goes all the way up to here and then goes back. All right, so now when I run the program, notice that it gives me the word anytime is made up of any and time. Okay, so with slicing, it's really important to remember the first index value is the index of the character you want, and you're going up through the last character you want. So you have to go one past it because it's like setting an outside boundary. Okay, it's going up to that boundary and then going back. Okay, that's probably the trickiest part of that whole assignment. So don't forget to do step 4 with slicing or indexing. You do one or the other. And review concatenation, because any print statements you do for the rest of the course, you're going to be probably taking user input, assigning it to a variable, and then in some way using the user's input in your print statement. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be glad to help you with any of this.